one man, one must die, chase the cat.
Good evening and welcome to Pound Posse Presents. Who's playing games in the control room? Not it. All right. No, we're not. What is this? Can we fix the vision here?
I'm working on it.
Wow. This is live TV, folks. Can I just remind you, for those who are watching this recorded version on YouTube later, this is live TV and my crew has just lost their minds.
Not me.
And Zach keeps saying, not me. He's going to blame Mike.
I am going to blame Mike because it was Mike.
Okay, so
We're doing this manually.
we're doing this manually. I don't know if it's going to work the same.
I'm going to make it work the same.
Why is it not working in the control room?
Because I don't know what button he pressed. This is as good as it's getting. Okay.
I'm just, I put my heart into trying to make the angle of the camera right.
Mike pooped on it. I'm sorry.
I don't ask for much. Oh boy. And Zach is still trying to figure out what button Mike pressed. This is priceless. So this is the way my life goes. And, everything has just gone haywire in my world. Haven't been here for the last 2 weeks because, once again, guess who's had car troubles? Mobile again, but it's precarious. And, just why not come back to the show? And Mike is rusty and at the helm, and here we are now. Anyway, so hopefully everybody weathered the storm this week well. It was a pretty scary thing. I bailed out of work a little early because, my phone was screaming at me to take cover. And all I could think of was I need to be home with my dogs if something happens because, that's just the way I roll. So I didn't get but, a minute down the street and it started a monsoon. And it was pretty horrifying. It's probably the worst conditions I've driven in a great many years. I don't remember seeing rain like that in probably 10, 11 years to have to drive in it like that. And, crossing over to get onto my street, it was like the Mississippi River, and there was a tree down, and people were going around on somebody's grass that was now mud, and I almost got stuck, and I had to back down the hill and go around the long way, and the other side was blocked by a tree. So, imagine that when you know that, you've got at least one dog that freaks out in storms, and you just need to get home, and you don't know what your yard's going to look like. I was prepared to leave my vehicle in the church parking lot up the street. I'm always prepared. I had a folder and I had a Sharpie and I wrote my name, my address and my phone number, and this way they wouldn't think that, the thing was totally abandoned there. Got back up front and there was a guy with a pickup truck, and he might as well have been wearing a cape and tights because he was my hero. He was like, "Oh, I'll move the tree out of the way. I've got to get home to my kids." I'm like, "I got to get home to my dogs, the heck with your kids, son," but whatever. He did. He hooked it up and he moved it, and everybody got by, and there I was in the middle of the street helping them move the other branches out of the street because I was like, yeah, well, you did that, I'll do this, I'm going home. Ran back down, got in the car, went home, and fortunately I was very lucky. My yard was not damaged, and the dogs were pretty okay. Little man is my big worry because he's the old guy, and he's been recently, diagnosed with a heart murmur, and he's at a grade 4. So, yeah, I was worried about him, and he needed a little extra loving and cuddling, and it was okay. It sort of kind of came and went, and, the aftermath was worse for a lot of other people, and, I hope that if you're watching this or, whether it's live or you watch it later. I hope you have power. A friend of mine in Danbury, their area got really hard hit. I know people, Beacon Falls, Oxford, they got just hammered. And it's a scary thing because there's no stopping it. I've been reading a lot of the news articles because it's, very interesting in a sort of depressing way to read about the damage and what happened. And, there's homes that have been condemned and, people who are just buried, their houses are buried in trees, and just a really scary thing. I have another friend in Southbury who, was stuck in her house for quite some time after the storm passed, and there's no controlling it. And I really wish we knew what Mother Nature's problem was, because she's been not treating us very kindly. But I have the feeling that there's a message, because there's a whole lot of people who don't treat the earth or other people, or especially animals, very kindly. So, the world is in a very, very bad place, and I don't know what the future holds, but we're getting punished for it, is what I think. So, the really sad part of tonight's show is that some of the dogs that I'm going to talk about were dogs that I had earmarked to talk about 2 weeks ago, when I missed the first show because something snapped in the front end of the vehicle and it was a little hairy getting home. Had to abort my mission coming to the studio because it was not safe, and hoped that I got home, and I did. So that's all that matters. But yeah, so there are some dogs in this mix that were going to be that show, and so they're unfortunately still sitting in shelters, still available, and so they are going to be part of this show, because why not? The first thing before I start talking about the adoptables, and this was going to be, my opener 2 weeks ago, in Stamford, there was a horrifying discovery at Seasick Marina. There was a pit bull who was deceased, found there in the water. His legs were tied. Did not seem to be any other injuries noted. There's been, I think, I've read conflicting reports about whether he was malnourished or not. The initial report said he did not appear to be malnourished. They said he was approximately 7 years old, black with white markings, and I'm going to spare my viewing audience the picture because it's certainly circulating on social media, and, it hurts. It hurts to see. This dog was clearly suffered. Imagine having your legs tied and being thrown in the water. There's just absolutely nothing you could do while you're dying, and can't even try to save yourself. So there's no excuse for that. There's got to be somebody who knows something. There is a full investigation being conducted, and a growing reward is being offered for information leading to the arrest of the person or persons who are responsible. And I can't wait, because it's definitely whoever gets, and I hope they get found, will be very definitely a case for Desmond's Army. So anyway, if you have information regarding who did this to this poor dog, you can contact Sergeant Christopher Bromes, and the number is 203-589-3546. Once again, that's 203-589-3546. There is information, the post that's been going around is on the Pound Posse Presents page. If you think you need to see the picture, if you think you know something, like I said, it's been circulating for weeks now, and it's hard to look at every time. But somebody knows something, and I just hope that the person is caught, because it's just unconscionable, and it's just, the animal abuse has to stop. Anyway, this little guy, Lucky, is truly that. I got a call from a friend of mine who had a situation on her hands. This little guy, actually, if his previous owner's plan had worked out, he would not be alive today. Lucky was scheduled to be put down, thinking mostly because of irresponsibility on the owner's part. He was supposedly the aggressor in the home with the brother from another litter. Yeah, see where I'm going with this? The irresponsibility factor. Not neutered. None of them were spayed or neutered, and I don't know what people think is going to happen. My friend took him to foster him, and she has been assessing him, and he is absolutely a love. He has been good with dogs, he has been good with cats, he has been good with kids. Definitely not an aggressive bone in his body. He's been very impressive as far as, you never know when you've got a dog that, under these circumstances, do you believe the owner? Is there something more to it? And, you've been around the block long enough, you kind of get a sixth sense. And so, the chance was taken. And Lucky's just a dream. And look at him, he's adorable at that. So if you have an interest in Lucky, I can put you in touch with the person who is fostering him. And you can either message me on Facebook, or you can email me at pawprints, PAWPRINTS 713 at AOL.com, and I will be very happy to make the connection for you. He's just a dream of a little dog, and seriously, the appointment was made. She was going to have him killed because she didn't want to deal with him anymore. And, I can say honestly, shame on the vets that fall into that and do that, because that's the way for them to make money. Vets should be much more rescue friendly. But anyway, that's Lucky's story. Next up is Brody. And Brody has been homeless for 3 years. He's the longest resident at the Babylon Animal Shelter. Brody is a tall, handsome, slim Rhodesian Rottie mix. He's 6 or 7 years old, muscular, and can run like the wind. He will need frequent exercise and continued training. He can catch treats in the air. It's one of his favorite things to do. He forms strong bonds with people, which makes his ideal situation to be, you know what I'm going to say, and only in the home, no dogs, cats, or kids. You can check out his Facebook page, Brody Needs a Family, or you can contact the Babylon Animal Shelter in West Babylon, New York, and their number is 631-643-9270. Once again, that's 631-643-9270. And as always, if you cannot help him, please share. These dogs are all posted on the Pound Posse Presents Facebook page, and it takes a second to share. You don't have to, if you're one of those people who don't like to feel like you're blowing up your friends with, posts of animals, go to my page, pick one, and just share one. Because you know what? That's first of all, the heck with anybody who doesn't like what you share on your own Facebook page. But second of all, if you want to go easy on the sharing, then pick one, you're still helping. All right, so next up is Calvin. Look at him. Calvin is back at the Plymouth, Massachusetts Animal Shelter because he went to a home, and after a few months of trying, it just wasn't a match with the resident dog. She didn't want a brother. Calvin is sweet. He is a sweet boy who loves to play and is very food motivated. When he arrived at the shelter, Calvin was emaciated and his feet were swollen from an untreated infection. He is about 3, built short and strong, and could use some basic training. So, so many of these dogs need training, and that's part of the commitment that people should be making to their animals. So, don't be don't be put off by the dog needs training thing, because every dog needs training. You're not going to necessarily adopt a dog that comes out of the box perfect. Perfect takes time and work and energy and patience and love and kindness. So that's my little rant. Anyway, to find out more about Calvin, and look at him, that face, I just want to smush him, you can call 508-888-1186. Once again, that's 508-888-1186. Next up is Storm. Storm has spent his whole life at the Cove Animal Rescue. 7 of his 7.5 or 8 years have been spent just waiting. How fair is that? Storm would do best in a structured environment with an individual or family who is well versed in living with large, dominant breeds. Storm likes some dogs, but no cats, and probably no kids. Storm has a Facebook page, and it's Storm Needs a Home. He is at Cove Animal Rescue in Glen Cove, New York, and the number there is 516-676-5913. That's 516-676-5913. Next up is Marv. And look at him. Marv has been at the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter for almost a year. He's about 6 years old. He is dog friendly, housebroken. He'd be great with kids 13 and up. Marv knows his share of commands, and unfortunately he's not doing really well in the shelter environment, and he really needs his chance at a home to call his own. Marv has his own Facebook page, Adoptable Marv, and you can message his Facebook page, or you can call the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter directly at 516-785-5220. That's 516-785-5220. Next up, we have Coco. And Coco was abandoned by her people and is now sitting in a shelter, and she has been for 3 years. Coco has more than paid her dues that she didn't owe, and she should be in a forever home. She's loving, a snuggler, and needs to be the only pet. You know, there's so many dogs that, you know, they don't like their own kind, and that's okay, because neither do I. Doesn't make them bad animals, and, you know, it just means that it's a niche adoption is what I call it, and it can be found. You know, there are people who either don't have any animals and are looking, or have just always had a single pet home and have maybe lost their aging or, you know, older dog. Really not a bad thing to do, to go back out there and adopt again, because these are the dogs that need you the most. They're the ones who sit the longest in the shelters. Anyway, if you're interested in Coco, North Fork Animal Welfare League in Long Island, the number is 631-765-1811, extension 1. Once again, that's 631-765-1811. Next up is Zeus. Zeus is the longest resident at the Shelter Connection in Port Washington, New York. He is absolutely gorgeous. Look at him with that little one ear up and one ear down thing. Just want to kiss his face too. Zeus has been at the shelter since 2011. At 8 or 9 years old, that's too much of his life to have been waiting. It just breaks my heart. He's one of those dogs who shows poorly in the kennel. He jumps and he barks, and he certainly gives the wrong impression when, you know, all he's doing it for is to be noticed. Outside, he's a dream. He's loving and funny and knows all of his commands. Zeus needs to be an only pet too, but, you know, that really shouldn't be an impossible dream for such a good boy. If you are interested in Zeus, please reach out to the Shelter Connection at 516-767-4615. Once again, that's 516-767-4615. Next up, we have Brandi. And this is really a sad story, and I have a lot of problems with it. Brandi sat at the MSPCA in Boston for almost a full year, literally like 3 days, 4 days short of a full year. When she was adopted, it should have been forever, but there was a change in the pet policy where her family was living, and that put Brandi right back at the shelter, no doubt very sad and confused. Brandi has some quirks, but they're not insurmountable. She is dog selective, which means, she'll get along with some, but not others. She's still learning to share, so, that's not the end of the world either. And without medication, she sometimes has accidents in the house. Again, give her meds, she's fine. She's a dog who will need daily exercise and would do well with older children. For more information, you can email, adoption@mspca.org, adoption@mspca.org. Just a sad story. I mean, really, how do you justify changing a policy which is going to put animals at risk? But that's not what these complexes are thinking. And, the family situation, the dynamic, I don't know what it would be, but really, you're going to bail on your pet? I don't know. I don't know about options or what, their resources are or their chance to go someplace else. But yeah, I just have a kind of a problem with that. Because now this poor confused dog is like sitting in a shelter wondering, now what happened. Anyway, next up is Ruby. Ruby is a beautiful, sweet senior at 10 years old who was given up by her family because they no longer wanted her. How nice. Let's just give an animal away because you just don't want them anymore. She is described as outgoing, friendly, and playful, and she's probably devastated too. So, she's really holding up fairly well for probably the broken heart that she has. She needs to be an only pet, and she is at the Brookhaven Animal Shelter, and you can call them at 631-451-6950. Once again, that's 631-451-6950. Next up, we have a bonded pair, Cooper and Jake. Look at how beautiful they are. Cooper is the chocolate lab and Jake is the yellow. They are 8 and 9 years old, a bonded senior pair who have been surrendered for the second time in about a year. The first time their dad was deployed and their mom felt it was too much for her to care for them, a toddler and a newborn. Boo-hoo. I have no patience for that, I'm sorry. Their new family is dealing with a medical condition, so again, the dogs suffer the consequences, and so now they're looking for a new home. Cooper and Jake are typical labs, outgoing, friendly, they love people, they walk well on a leash, they do well with kids and other dogs, and they have no reaction to confrontational dogs. They sound like an absolute dream, and they're gorgeous to boot. Look at them. They're like bookends. They're probably the most amazing companions you could have. They know many commands, they're crate trained, and they'll actually go into their crates upon request. While these two love to lounge around and sleep a lot, they also love and need to run around. So if you are interested and if you can provide the type of home that these guys really need and deserve, a forever home at that, you can check out www.luckylabrescue.com and fill out an application. Just make sure that you note that it is for Cooper and Jake. All right, so coming up soon is Jamesons Jubilee. And, this is what, the 5th annual it says, and I have made none annual. Not because I haven't wanted to or I haven't tried or, let's go back to all the car problems and, scheduling problems and things that get in my way on a regular basis. But anyway, you may remember Jameson from being on the show. He has gone for 2 tries at the Hero Dog Awards, and I've been a horrible friend this year, and I do apologize with all the sharing and the rooting and the voting for his second run at the Hero Dog Awards. Unfortunately, he did not advance. I just saw that news. And so I don't know where that puts him for future runs, but Jameson will always be a hero in everyone's eyes because, he survived a severe beating. He was left for dead in the snow. Thank God for his mom, who was a detective on the case and also an animal lover, and she did not leave him to fend for himself. He became his, and he became oh my God, he became hers and she became his. Talk much. And they've been doing a lot of great things to help other animals, which is a beautiful thing. So anyway, Jamesons Jubilee is Sunday, June 3rd from noon to 4. It's going to be at the Ludlow Elks Pavilion, 69 Chapin Street in Ludlow, Mass. I'm going to take another stab at trying to get there. Vehicle issues are going to play a huge part. And, maybe somebody wants to go and wants to drive. It's a beautiful thing. I'm game. Let me know. Holla, holla. May have to hit Sherry up, see if she wants to go. Dear friends Juno are usually there, and Jake, and we'll take the camera back. So hopefully, if you're up in that area, you can make it. And, if you want to go with me, I'm available. So anyway, that's the show for tonight. What do we got for time? 30 seconds. Okay. In 30 seconds, can you run through the adoptables? Ha ha. I'm not even going to try to talk and hold him up. I'm going to see if he can do this. All these dogs are shared on the Pound Posse Presents Facebook page. If you want more information, feel free to go check them out. Share them, please. I'm going to say peace, love, and dogs. Until next time, thank you very much for watching, and good night.